Welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is the best way for you to exit your cryptocurrency, high-end primary luxury home, real estate, business, and so that you can create and preserve more wealth. I'm your host, Brett Swartz. In each episode, I am joined by some of the best real estate, financial, business, wealth, and sometimes real estate professional minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. We're also streaming on expertcresecrets.com, and from time to time we're bringing on guests who are in the real estate world, and that's exactly what we're doing today. I'm excited for our next guest. She actually got into real estate in 2003 as an investor, and she grew her buyer and investor business and became the top agent in her office within the first full year of being in real estate. And then the great real estate market crash of '08 hit, and she pivoted to working with REO, short sales and investors, which taught her a lot about grit. And when the market turned around in 2011, she worked at the trustee sales with investors and flipped over 40 homes that year, while growing her traditional real estate business through digital marketing, including blogging, video, and internet marketing. And then in 2014, she started her team, and in 2020, sold over 373 homes and over $178 million in real estate volume. Please welcome to the show with me, Jen Wehner. Hey, Jen, how you doing?
Oh, I am doing very good. Very grateful. You know, it's life doesn't have its challenges, but it's like the next floor of challenges. And I'm so honored to be here.
Absolutely. Well, it's an honor to have you on the show. And for our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Yeah, that story sounded a lot nicer than the backstory. But I have failed a lot along the way. And actually, so I was all in when I got into real estate. I saw the freedom. I saw the flexibility. I saw this like endless, you could make whatever you wanted to make. So I was all in, and I just took all the money I'd saved up from waiting tables, because I knew that was not my end goal. And I bought 2 homes to flip here for the same price that just my rent was in Huntington Beach, California. So moved here. Like, I had a daughter, like I have a family to provide for, so I had to make it work. Because I was already an investor, I started naturally working with investors, and then I started to buy multiple investment properties with really bad strategies. And I also was developing a luxury home subdivision with a really bad strategy. So I actually just produced a video of how I made $1 million and how I lost $1 million. And it was actually how I made like 1.5 and lost like 5 million. But it's all the principles that I learned, you know, that I never can be in that pain again, because I literally was giving birth to my 3rd child. I have 4 kids. And I was negotiating a short sale, and I was supposed to go and be induced on a Friday. So I knew I never could be in that pain again. But now I have multiple businesses, and I just launched a national real estate coaching company. So it's like more than ever so important to be aware of time, wealth, like not just being a slave to your job, exit strategy, see the future. And really the only way to do that is like with a tribe, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I'm the smartest person in the room, it is exhausting. And even though it's humbling, you know, it's when you have that collective intelligence of the people around you and you're able to tap into that. Now that in action is where wealth happens. And I'm somebody I'm happy to take action if you just give me the wealth and you surround me by people that I have no other choice to fit in other than to level up. So now that people have aligned with me, they like my team, our coaching students, like they rely on you for not just to hit their real estate goals, but for their future, for them and their families. So I take my commitments really seriously and see the way, like I know what we had to do to not be in that same position before. It's terrible. I don't want anyone to have to go through that. But yeah, when you share how, you know, and there's past the multiple streams of income, like if the real estate sales slow, which they are, because we've already seen the market shift, you're not going to be so worried because you are going to have multiple streams of income. So
we'll talk about it here more in a minute. I want to dive in. We'll leave the meat on the bone here, because there's a lot of wisdom there. But one of the things I really picked up on and I really appreciate about you so far is you're transparent about your success and your failures, right? You're transparent about the realness of the real estate entrepreneurial world, right? Starting out
Oh,
as a
yeah.
waiter, right? And selling everything he had, moving from Southern California to the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, and then building teams, but also taking risk. And so we'll get into all of that and your coaching and everything else. But before we go there, I want to take one other step back, Jen. And, I believe we've all been given certain gifts in this life. I believe they're God-given gifts. Some people call them strengths or superpowers. But I want you to go back maybe to your high school days, maybe in your college days. And I want you maybe to pitch yourself and maybe what those one or two gifts that kind of naturally came to you or given to you perhaps. And what are those gifts? And then how does that help how you help and bless people today?
Well, I've really been really focused on that this last year. I have been doing a lot of deep work personally. You're kind of forced to do that when you're in a leadership role. But when I was a teenager, you probably would have recognized me, like personality wise. I was an introvert, like no one's business. I always just figured out the systems. Like I didn't want to get bullied anymore. So I just made a couple popular friends and became a cheerleader. And that was the system to, fit in. But I won all the awards, physically capable, like a natural athlete. But like behind the scenes was like depression, like addiction, like did not believe in my self-worth, did not believe in myself, and didn't find my voice. But the one thing I always got along with was books. I could learn anything. That is like literally the way I do self-love and my self-care is like, if I can have 4 hours of gene research, that to me is like going to a spa. And so I'm a lifelong learner. I am like, learning is my number one core value by far, because even if you learn first, sometimes you have to learn to be able to love. Sometimes you need to learn to be able to empathize. You're able to learn to be vulnerable and express what you've gone through. So I do believe that my gift is like the fact that I'll do the investigation for you because I love this. I love learning. And I am not afraid I won't tell you while I'm pooping the bed, but after I poop the bed and how I'm not going to poop the bed again, that's when I get to tell you.
Hey, thank you so much. I think that's fantastic. And those are gifts, right? Because if you think about it, we're all struggling in certain ways and certain things, right? And no matter how successful or how, on the outside, things seem to be shining and bright. And this, social media, let's just say nice sunglasses, pictures and videos, but there's challenges, right? So I appreciate you sharing some of those vulnerabilities. That being said, let's dive right into building real estate wealth with people. Okay, this is the topic of the conversation, and moving beyond just selling real estate, but building wealth. So, what's the number one secret, Jen, when it comes to building wealth with people?
Well, sometimes it's back to the basics. It's like you're the sum total of 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that like in money wise, dollar wise, like who do you talk to get wise counsel? Then add all those amount. That's like you're the average of that. So first look at your circle, but also look at the information. Who are you calling with the what should I do next? Or what's the best thing? Should I do this? Are you asking somebody that doesn't sell a lot of homes? Or are you asking somebody that doesn't want to share or who are you going to for wise counsel? Because when you have that collective intelligence to tap into, and if you're willing to do what it takes to take action on it, you're committed and you live by a principle, then anything you want can happen. And when something's not your fault, when something does go wrong and you take 100% ownership of it, it's freeing. But with the building wealth through people, like I cannot get there alone. So I need like my mentors, but I also need the people that follow me, right? Like that's building business. And when you build their collective intelligence, you're going to have a much more well-oiled machine, because I could tell you building a business, there is not a very good tutorial on how to run a profitable real estate business. I was winning awards while being unprofitable. Now I have the right optics and metrics and consultants with me. I know what to look for and my numbers to look for to make sure I'm not profitable month over month. And now I can forecast. I didn't have those available to me 2 years ago like I do now. But it's through that collective intelligence I have it. then you have to be able to provide multiple streams of income or teach your people how to do that for themselves. Or you're going to be like, this is what keeps me up at night, is like people that like choose to align with me going to retire. And how are they going to be able to retire and have vacations and retire and like be able to like spend time with their grandkids? And I'll find a way, but it's more important for me to help them find the way. And I was meeting with an agent doing one-on-one coaching, and we have stock and revenue share. And it was funny. I was like talking about, what do you have saved? Because I always talk about personal goals. And he was really proud. He's most he's ever saved, $25,000. And stock account, like XP, like you can elect to take 5% of your paycheck and or commissions and buy your stock at 10% off. Well, he had a big old bank account. He had like $75,000 in there, more money than he's ever saved. But it was that investing that we kind of forced him to. But now with revenue share, it's a whole different world. You bring people only that you want to help, and like you're financially rewarded for it, because there's only so many have a minute favors you can do for people. But when you're financially vested in them, it doesn't matter if it's their own team. It could be their own team in Colombia, their own team in California. They could be on your team and then want to grow a team. You're so vested in their success that it takes all the personal emotions around, away from you. And it's like, oh, you want to leave the team and start your own team. It's a very common theme. How can I help you? Right? It's a
Absolutely.
whole
And
different.
what you're referring to, Jen's referring to, is EXP, and I'm a part of EXP as well on the brokerage side. And so multifamily is my specialty on that, especially for our deferred sales trust clients. But it's an amazing once you see the culture, the leadership, and when it's financially aligned with folks, right? Versus just, hey, I give you all my secrets, and then you go to another brokerage company and compete against me, or give you all my secrets, and then you go next in the cubicle next to me. That's what happened to me at Marcus and Millichap. Be like, hey, wait, this is weird. Marcus and Millichap's always getting paid, but I'm not always getting paid. So it's a weird thing. But when EXP broke this code and figured this thing out, it's changing the game. But before we go into all the EXP stuff, I want to make sure I gathered the stuff you said, because you shared a lot of wisdom there, right? So the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I love how you put the circle of influence. Who am I calling for wise counsel? And if you think about it, those major decisions that we're making and the wise counsel that's bringing in, those decisions are affecting our future, right? So who can you reach out to? Who can you trust? And that's what's shaping our future, right? Those decisions that we're making based upon the counsel and the wisdom that we have. So I love that. Second thing is, you need to get with leaders in front of you and in back, right? You need to be able to folks that are leveling you up, and then you need to be leveling other people up, because it's the give and take. It's like water that flows is healthy. Water that stagnates becomes, not healthy. That's the best way to put it. And so they can help you build your business as you're helping to build theirs, and then people in front of you as well. So you're leveling up. Is that a fair summary so far on those points, Jen?
Yeah, and I think out of everybody that I can think of, Magic Johnson is probably one of the most inspiring concept for this. So I don't know if you know the story of why they call him Magic Johnson, Magic. Well, he was like in college and he was playing, he's naturally God-given talent. So he's just shooting. The coach is like, just shoot, shoot, shoot. He'd out of 52 points, it'd be 48, 50, 46. And then everyone's like clapping him on, but he's looking at the crowd and he sees all the families that go to see their kids play. And he's like, you're not seeing your kids play, you're just seeing me play. He took it upon himself to transfer his knowledge and skills into all of his players and his teammates. Because he's like, well, if like you guys are all winning, we will all win more. Plus, it's not always on me. And I get to learn more too. It's a win-win. But that's why every coach wanted him, because literally he would be magic to every equation, because it wasn't just about him. It was about other people. And I have a quote on my board that I've lived my life by. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help other people get what they want. And it's true. The money will follow, like if you do the right actions. It's just sometimes you don't know
Absolutely.
you're doing the
Love
wrong
it.
actions.
So much wisdom there. I love that story of Magic Johnson. I played basketball in college, so I love Magic Johnson. Love basketball, and we're in the middle of NBA playoffs right now. and it's an amazing sport. So
Exciting.
very cool, very cool. And then you also mentioned metrics, right? Making sure you're understanding your numbers, right? So as a part of
Mhm.
that, Jen, is that something where perhaps you hired out, right? You hired a bookkeeper, you hired,
Yeah.
a professional to help you with that, or walk us through
Yeah.
how
A
you were able
consultant.
to really dial in your numbers.
I had to get a consultant just for me, just to meet with my operations manager. She meets with my sales manager. I have one-on-ones with our CPO, chief people officer. So she is like helping with the optics and the KPIs for all segments of the business. So sources, people, how we can track their KPIs, or knowing our numbers per agent. Um, it's also optics in the business. How many escrows are we turning up or down? How many leads? How many contacts? How many appointments? Offers written, showing homes? Like, we track a lot. We have like a lot of different scoreboards. But even for the average agent, like what I have a very simple volume breakdown analysis. That's insanely simple. But it tells you exactly how many appointments you need to be going on every week based on your goals and your conversion rate. How many appointments you need to go on every week to hit your goals. So if it's 3 appointments a week or 5 appointments a week, when you're off, well, way before it's a problem. Because what most agents wait for is for disaster to happen, like their account by their bank balance, and they're just showing up, and then all of a sudden their bank starts going down. They don't worry about it. Then it starts really going down. They're like, oh crap, I need to do something. But if you had the right optics in front of you on a consistent basis, you would know. You would have seen this coming 6 months before. So it's definitely having the scoreboards, and that's one of the 4 disciplines of execution, is a must. And it's not just for you; it's you and anybody aligned with you.
Yeah, very well said. Lots of wisdom there. And now let's move into the EXP part of the business. So Jen, tell us, before you joined EXP, why didn't you join? Now that you've joined EXP, what's life like as a real estate professional?
Well, the number one reason I got in was the collaboration, because it was the growing from a small team to a bigger team, and I think I was the most creative in like the different positions I would hire for, and the budgets and the things I would say yes to, but I was not profitable. So a friend had been trying to get me in for us, and we loved her for a year, but she wasn't doing anything like what I was doing, and especially where I wanted to go. But Kyle Whistle, Dan Beer, they brought me in. They were my mentors. That when they made the move, I just immediately made the move. But it was the collaboration. 2 is the economics, and 3, it was for the divorce or the loyalty problem. The divorce, like when an agent wants to leave your team, who gets the dog or who gets the house? It's more like, how can I help you? If they know math and see big vision. But I have like 2 of my downlines that have started their own teams. I'm like cheering them on. They were like my top agents. So, it's so exciting that the relationship doesn't have to end. And but it's like when I talk to most agents, I'm like, what's your retirement plan? Just like, what's your exit strategy? And they're like, investment properties. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, and I love investment properties. I just bought one for 840 in December. It's worth 1.4 now. I did some remodeling. I bought a condo for $2,000 down the street. I'm renting that out on 30-day rentals at $7,000 a month. So I like love cash flow and I love investing. But I also know it's a longer term play. So I ask agents what their retirement exit strategy is, and it's almost always, oh, I'm going to just buy a bunch of retirement properties. And I'll just, ask questions like, oh, how much do you need to retire? And usually they're really low. They're making 200,000 now, but they're like, oh, I don't know, 80,000. I'm like, okay, like how many investment properties would you need to make $80,000 net? And they're like, oh, I don't know, like maybe $300, $400 a house. Like, okay, how much in down payment? How long is it going to take you to save it? We all know there's laws around how many investment properties you can own until you need a lot more to be able to qualify. So they just don't even know how to answer it. But if an agent over the next 2 years were to invite 6 people into the organization, who each brought 6 people, so just no teams, no triple lines, just I liked it enough to tell somebody, and they all capped making $80,000 in GCI. You'd be making an equivalent of what a $900,000 investment in a mutual fund account would be in revenue share. All you had to do is be a master inviter. Like, do you want to like invite people to like learn how to grow their business and then help them and then help them and then help them? Then they want that. They want to experience that and they know they need it. So a lot of times they'll agency to experience it, which I had the pleasure of doing with like Kyle Whistle and Van Beer. But now it's so exciting because my downline and like Lauren Rosen, Shelby DiBiase, Lala Smith, John Gletch, like Austin Zabek, we have some amazing partners in our downline. They don't probably know this, but they help me sometimes more than I even think I help them. But it's that like collaboration, collective intelligence, and it's fun. And it's like not even management. It's like I don't have to tell Lauren Rosen to make her contacts. Like, so that it's fun, it's rewarding, and even for the agents that are on my team, like I want to help them grow and buffer us against the next shift, which we're already in. So
amazing. Yeah, so much there, so much wisdom. I love how you broke that down. And it really is very simple. I mean, as a real estate professional at Marcus & Millichap, part of our goals was not just to sell real estate for the rest of our lives. We like doing that as brokers, but it was to get on the other side of the phone, right? And that meant you're owning the real estate and it's paying you the passive income, right? You're getting the tax benefits, you're getting the cash flow. And so you're thinking about this and you're like, okay, why not do the same thing, the stuff that I'm already doing, training and coaching, mentoring, helping people grow their real estate business. And why not just take out the middle person instead of making the billions for the Marcus & Millichaps and the C.B. Richard Ellises and the Keller Williams and the... Anyways, you can go to expertcresecrets.com to learn more about that. I'm a multifamily broker here in Sacramento. And so we're building our EXP brokerage team as well. And then we also work on the residential side with one of the top EXP agents as well. Jen, are you back?
I have been here the whole time. That was so weird. You disappeared and I was here.
Yeah, I know. Restream does kind of a funny thing somewhere around 20 minutes. So I'm so sorry about that. But that being said, Jen, are you ready for the lightning round?
Yes.
Okay. Knowing what you know now, Jen, if you could go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you'd make sure to tell yourself to do?
Get some smart, rich, nice friends in the business. Or just
make friends
nice,
with Warren Buffett,
nice too.
Yeah. Cool. Second question. What's the number one book that you've gifted or read in the past year?
Oh, The Four Agreements, for sure. I've gifted like 200.
Wow. Next question. What are you most curious about right now?
The quantum physics beyond growing my business, but my extracurricular is the quantum physics.
Oh, you're serious? That's cool. I love it. Yeah, you're geeking out on learning stuff, right?
I love it. Yeah, I love history, art history, science, math, art. I just commissioned my first art painting. I just took up dancing and gymnastics. So I like to try new things, but this is my latest. It's the quantum.
That's really cool. Let me know what you learn about that. That'll be interesting.
Ice plunge. Everybody should do ice cold plunges. It's real time letting go. I'm actually going to have them at one of my events. The Wim Hof. Because everyone knows Wim Hof for the Iceman. They don't know that his wife killed herself like when he had 4 young kids because she was so depressed, and he loved her so much that he threw himself into a lake and found like this like forgiveness, love that like. So he hikes Mount Everest in shorts, like not even like mountain hiking shorts, but when you get into an ice plunge in 2 minutes, it's real time letting go. So that's if it's one biohack, I can like say that is like there's a lot of clutter that can get in here. It's like that's the easiest and fastest way to just let go, declutter, and then your brain is fresh. And for CEOs, 2 minutes, that is the most like best way to spend 2 minutes of your time.
Hey, I'm jumping in the polar bear swim tonight. I'm going to put an ice bath. It's about 100 degrees here in Sacramento, so it's going to take a whole lot of energy to get there. But next question is this. Favorite leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by?
Okay, besides that one, can I do a twist quote? Because Chris Voss, who wrote Never Split the Difference, yes. Took a twist on a Charles Darwin, which I love this quote. So it's not the most intelligent man, nor the most capable, but the quickest to adapt that ultimately survive, Darwin. Voss, who is like FBI hostage negotiator, going up against the most crazy minds, getting them to back down from trying to kill people, twisted it. And he's like, it's not the most intelligent or capable, it's the most collaborative man that ultimately survives. And it's true, because together, like, I will be quicker to pivot, because instead of just being by myself here and maybe with my friends, I could see a clear path here myself, but it's murky. Now, with the collective intelligence we have, we could be like, oh, I tried that, didn't work. We have a much clearer, this is coming. This is what we're doing right now. And our path is clear. So the collaboration is everything. It really is. And I think we have a duty to, if we know something, like if you are passionate about it and you're like, you know about it, you want to help and you can, just do it. Help, pay it forward, pay it forward. I think in this, everything that's gone on over this last year, it's like there's been so much, like we stopped being humans and it's time to be humans again. And when you help people, to me, I love giving gifts. I don't love always receiving them, but it's also number one, people's love language is gifts. And sometimes the best gift you can give somebody is knowledge.
Yes, I love it. Fantastic. And Jen, for our listeners who want to get in touch with you, oh, sorry, last question. After all your success, selling all these homes, building the teams, going to EXP, doing all the things that you're doing now, the coaching, how do you stay centered in your values, and how do you stay encouraged to charge forward to reach new heights?
I have to love what I'm doing and I have to believe in it. So if I find myself burnout, it's because I'm filling my week with activities that don't bring me joy. So I'm very aware, and I calendar like date nights, like kid time, like family, like me time. I have personal days. I go to hot yoga 3 times a week, like seriously, just for the decluttering of the mind. And so if I make sure, and I work out every morning, but it's like a mathematical equation, and I feel like it is to be me. But if it's on my calendar, there's a system for everything. I'll fill it, and I'll stay balanced. Well, it's never balanced, but it's work-life integration.
Yeah, very well said. I love that. Yeah, calendaring and time blocking and scheduling. Yeah, me time, date time, kids time, work time, and really mapping it out. So much wisdom with for us today, Jen Wehner. Thank you so much for being on the show. For our listeners who want to get in touch with you, would you remind them one last time what's the best place for them to find you?
If you follow me on Instagram, I'm at Jennifer.Wehner, Wehner. And also my YouTube channel. I've been doing videos for years. I love it. I have fun. I have breaking news, market news every month, but we do buyer tips, agent tips, seller tips, consumer tips, investing tips. I've been doing video for 11 years, but we've been all in on video for a while, and we're just going deeper. So definitely check out my YouTube.
Amazing, Jen. I want to thank you for being on the show, for sharing a bit about your story, for using the gifts and talents of learning a lot and helping other people, and being willing to be vulnerable, right, and share your stories of struggle and challenges, right, and that's real, and that helps people to know that hey, if Jen can do it, and she was in my spot at one point, I can do it too. So I want to encourage you to keep using those gifts, keep blessing people, keep growing your EXP business, keep sharing the wisdom that you have. And thank you so much for being on the show. And also want to thank our listeners for listening to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. As always, we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is the best way for you to exit your luxury real estate, cryptocurrency, business, really any highly appreciated asset, all tax deferred. You can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to learn more about that. That's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. Hey, please rate, review, subscribe. We so appreciate you out there. And without these little likes, these little thumbs ups, these little maybe tagging us for a friend who can learn about what we just talked about, the message doesn't get out as fast or as effective. So please, we appreciate your support on